Menards has raced at this incredible facility. And we're getting ready to drop the flag on race number 4 of 2016. Hi everyone, I'm Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons. You know, there are only 5 drivers in this field that have ever won an ARCA race. 2 of them here, Bobby Gerhart and Tom Hessert. So Phil, I want you to put your crew chief hat on for me and explain how are you going to get your driver to the front at the right time and be in the right place?
Well, I'm going to work really well with my spotter. My spotter's got a lot of experience. Most all these spotters up on the roof of these ARCA guys also do Cup guys, so they know what to do. I'm going to work with my spotter, with my rookie driver, my young driver, to keep him in position, keep his head cool, and most importantly, when it comes time to make a pit stop, don't slide the tires. Don't make any mistakes on pit road, because we will see some mistakes on pit road today, because most of these guys aren't even going to change tires. These general tires will last these 200 miles, so I want to be in position towards the end of the race. John West Townley got in position with 30 laps to go at Daytona and led the rest of the way, so he knows how to get it done here, and most of the talk in the garage area is look for the 25, Tom Hessert, look for the 5, Bobby Gerhart, and look for John West Townley in the 05, because they know how to get it done here, and they know that they'll be near the front when this thing ends.
3 drivers with very fast cars, and one guy had the fastest today. Our Menards Pole Award winner is Tom Hessert from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He drives the RelaxWraps.com Cometic Toyota, and that, of course, is for Venturini Motorsports. They're always fast when we come to the big tracks, so Hessert got to hold up the trophy today with his Ansel gloves on. So Tommy Hessert gets his 3rd pole of his career. We'll have our starting lineup rolling across the top of the screen, presented by General Tire today, and you see a beautiful group of cars. We've got a really good field, and we've got 2 great pit reporters bringing you the action today. We've got Jim Trado from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but first we want to start off with Virginia's Caitlin Vincey.
Well, Ray, one driver whose ARCA season is off to a good start is Josh Williams. He's sitting 3rd in the points, had a win at Nashville earlier this month. Now, he told me he's part of the family-owned Josh Williams Motorsports. He says they have 4 full-time employees, driver being one of them. He said, we are all racers. We do this because we love it. And he attributes a lot of his success so far this season to his crew chief, Danny Johnson, who he says he has a great relationship with. It's like a brotherhood. They're very good at communicating with one another and helping each other out to make these race cars as fast as possible. Now, he's starting 14th. He told me the plan is to race the racetrack, but also race the weather that could potentially be moving into this area. Jim Trado?
And Caitlin, one of the 9 drivers under the age of 21 is Gustine. He'll start 2nd today in the number 98 Grease Chevrolet. One component he has, a very strong test at the beginning of the year. Preseason testing at Daytona, he was 2nd quick only to his teammate Mason Mitchell, the 2014 Series champ. Today, Gus is the only car fielded by Mason Mitchell Motorsports. Mason's on the pit box as the crew chief, calling the shots for this young driver. So not only is Mason not even 25, but he's got a 21-year-old driver trying to do their best. The goal for this team, Mason Mitchell, field a full-time ARCA Racing Series team and advance Mason's career. Gustine's goal and focus in that number 98 machine, he said, all I want to do is win. I need a victory to get more attention and race more than just maybe one more opportunity here in the ARCA Racing Series in 2016.
Well, thank you, Jim. We've got a lot of great drivers in this field, and a number of them are going to be bringing us some really good shots. Phil, start us out.
Yeah, we're going to ride along with Brandon Lynn. He's got top 10 finishes in his last 2 starts. He's in the Scott Brand Products onboard. It will start from the 25th spot, one of the 4 cars for Lyra Motorsports.
Another Lyra Motorsports car will be the number 58 of Kyle Weatherman in the Ford Performance onboard. Remember, he won last year at New Jersey, and he was our 15 Scott Brands Rookie of the Year.
We're going to ride along with that Gus Dean that Jim was talking about. Nice young man here. He drives that Gree Chevy for the 2014 champ Mason Mitchell. Look for him to be very, very strong today, because he's starting on the front row.
A really good run for the number 52. That's Matt Kurziewski. This is a guy, remember, last year he won the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge. He's 9th in points right now. He needs a little bit of a jump start, that's for sure. But General Tire is hoping that you'll get to know Matt Kurziewski just a little bit better. So let's take a look at some of his information.
You see, he won the Super Speedway Challenge last year, only ran 9 races, and he finished in the top 10 in 8 of those.
Driving for Brian Keselowski last year, but this year he's in Ken Schrader's equipment, so that should be fun to watch. Here's our track description coming up, Phil. This is obviously the biggest racetrack that these drivers compete on throughout the year, NASCAR or ARCA.
One of the racetracks that I've loved from the time they built it back in 1969. You see a little over 2.5 miles, 2.66, 33 degrees of banking, the highest banks we have in all of NASCAR. Front straightaway, that's a corner. That tri-over is a corner, 16 degrees. Back straightaway is relatively flat.
And I love how wide this racetrack is. Gives you lots of options. We're going to go 76 laps today. That's 202 miles. You know, we had 90-degree temperatures throughout the course of the day today in bright sunshine, but all of a sudden overcast and the temperature's dropping.
More speed, more grip. You can see we estimate one pit stop here, and that's just probably going to be for fuel only. Billy Gerhardt, Bobby Gerhardt's brother and crew chief, said, if I have to stop late, if we don't get any caution flags, then I'm going to put tires on, and I'm going to ride around the top and beat these guys.
Wow, it'll be interesting. Gerhardt's certainly one of those guys who's had a number of different ways of pulling it off. Bobby Gerhardt in that Lucas Oil number 5, one of the cars we'll certainly be watching today. You see the pace car down low getting ready to go to pit road. The cars are lined up 2 by 2. Tom Hessert on the inside, Gus Dean on the outside, and keep an eye on John West Townley. Brand new sponsorship from Jive on that 05. That's going to be a car that's going to go out there fast.
Yeah, let's stay in line. Let's get some laps under our belt here and shake things out a little bit.
Getting ready as they come through the tri-oval. Remember, the start-finish line's in a different place at Talladega, but the green flag is out. We're underway, and Hessert gets a good start.
They were 3 wide already when we got just past the start-finish line.
We had group qualifying earlier today, and that meant that only 5 or 6 cars were on the racetrack at a time. These guys are all trying slingshot moves. If you can get a group of 3 or 4 together, you can really make some fast time and suck up to that group. So a lot of these guys who have only run a little bit of super speedway racing learned a lot today.
Look at those 2 black cars up top, 3 wide there. They're not making any ground up. That's Will Kimmel and Chase Briscoe. Both of those drivers told me that they were going to work together. He said, we really feel like teammates, even though they're from different teams.
Absolutely. Kimmel in that number 69 up on the high side. We saw Chase Briscoe in the 77. They're trying to get together back there and see if they can work their way. There's definitely room. Look at this on the left. Lots of room for a third line if you want it.
Yeah, right now I think we want to stay in line. We saw Chase Briscoe, Will Kimmel try that third line. It didn't work early on here. These guys are really doing a nice job just staying in line. Here's Matt Krzyzewski right here in the 52 General Tire on board. You see him right behind Bobby Gerhardt, that 5 car. That's not a bad place to be, right around Bobby Gerhardt.
Phil, we had a big wreck at Daytona, but I have to tell you, it was some of the best racing I've ever seen from this division. We went 35 laps where they were 3 wide the whole time, and so far a really good start to this race.
That outside line really looked strong here early on. A lot of times at Daytona, we saw that inside line creep out ahead of the outside line. Gus Dean's able to hold that outside line right up there with Tom Hessert. Gus is in that 98 car.
See Andy Seiss there in that 02. He is tucked in right behind Shane Lee. Lee in that Lee boy number 32 with a really good qualifying effort. They were excited about that. One car going way up to the high side. Terry Jones in the number 30, and he is going to go 3 wide now.
Yeah, it looked like he had to avoid another car. He went to the high side. Another car darted out to the outside. He had to give us some extra room.
Gus Dean going up a little bit, rolling up to the high side, but we've got a big group of cars, 2 by 2, rolling down the back straightaway.
There's the 2 cars we were talking about earlier, the 69 of Will Kimmel, the 77 of Chase Briscoe. That third line didn't work, so they may have decided just to go back there. They're going to be fast enough, those are 2 fast cars, and just ride around there, put some laps in here to see what happens.
Not a bad idea. Chase Briscoe, a 2-time pole winner so far this season in our first 3 races of the year. That's some pretty good statistics for this young driver from Indiana.
Yeah, I was talking to Kerry Shear, one of the co-owners of that Cunningham Motorsports, and he's so high on Chase Briscoe. Such a nice young man. Really had a great opportunity to win Salem last time out, but ended up having a loose wheel, and then it actually shook the hub apart there with about 3 laps to go.
I can't tell you how many crew chiefs came up to me in the garage this weekend and said, we should have won Salem. We should have won Nashville.
Yeah.
How many of them could have won?
And that's what we talk about here. You know, people say anybody can win at Talladega. Ray, there's only 2 drivers in this field that have won at this racetrack.
Right. Bobby Gerhardt, such an incredible resume when it comes to super speedway racing. Here's the 52 on board.
See John West Townley, that's the green, lime green car on the outside. Shane Lee, the 32, is on the outside of Krzyzewski. with Bobby Gerhart right there in front of him. Look at John West Townley side drafting Bobby Gerhart. John West is in the 05.
Let's go back down to pit road, get an update on John West Townley. Check in with Caitlin.
Well, you guys were talking about the draft, and his team is encouraging him now to keep working that side draft. And I spoke with John West before he stepped into that race car. He told me they brought the same car that they won at Daytona earlier this season. And he said that it's a very good race car. It does draft well. But he said with the threat of weather potentially moving into the area, it puts a little more urgency into their strategy to try and work their way up to the front of the field, guys.
Thank you, Caitlin. A little bit of contact there for John West Townley as he was coming through the tri-oval, and you see there right on the back wheel well.
He's got a tire mark there. You see him side drafting here.
Ooh.
That wasn't John West's fault. Looked like maybe Krzyzewski got in the back of Gerhart. Bobby's car jumped to the outside. He made contact with Townley.
And how about this? Sean Corr running right in the group there in that number 48. Remember at Daytona, they were bump drafting and Sean Corr's battery came loose and they had to go to the pits, lost a lot of laps, but they said that car's a winner. Gus Dean with a good run so far. He's up on the high side. Let's get an update from Jim Trado.
And Ray, the viewers may be wondering, why is this young man with so little experience? He lasted just a few laps in Daytona, but before being caught up in an accident, has very little time on a track this big. Why would he want to stay even with Tom Hessert? The reason is he's got a really good race car, and as they're racing, he's also getting extremely involved with listening to his spotter intently. His spotter is Tyler Green, who spots on Sundays for Jamie McMurray. Tyler's saying, get closer to the side of that car, stay in line, make sure the 05 stays with you. All these coaching elements are all part of this driver development, if you will, for Gus Dean as he continues to ride side by side as Difford Stowe on the pace lap in that blue car in second.
Gus Dean from Bluffton, South Carolina on the high side. Down to the bottom, it's Tom Hessert. We got a great race going here at Talladega. Back with more. We've got 6 laps complete. Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway. At the top of the show, Phil Parsons told you got to keep your car in excellent condition. And guess what? John West Townley has had a problem after that contact with Bobby Gerhart. It looks like his left front tire's down.
Yeah, certainly did. He realized it over in 1 and 2. This is that contact. It looks like the yellow or the bright yellow car maybe gets in the back of Gerhart, and he ran into the side of John West. And we ran several laps, but I think he probably had a slow leak or a fender down on the tire. He caught it going in turn 1 and 2. Everybody in the field did an amazing job getting by him, but it's going to cost him a lot of time. And whenever you drive 2 miles like that, grinding off the sway bar arm, the lower control arm, stuff like that, it really does a lot of damage to the car.
John West Townley won at Daytona, finished 4th at Nashville, 7th at Salem with 3 top 7 finishes. He's the points leader.
Yeah, he's our point leader coming in here. Originally, he was going to run the full truck series as well as many ARCA races as he can. If he'd have kept the point lead when we came to a conflict, he may have decided to run the ARCA race instead of the truck race, but he's going to really hurt him here because he's already 1 lap down, getting ready to be 2.
John West Townley almost caused an accident when he realized that he had that flat tire. They're heading down into turn 1, and watch this. A lot of people have to take evasive action.
Yeah, he feels something going wrong here, so he's going to move up the racetrack. You see him slow down. Shane Lee does an amazing job to avoid him, as well as the 0-2 of Andy Seiss. Cars just going everywhere. They're 4 wide now. Cars making contact. He does a nice job staying way up the racetrack, giving everyone else room to get by him.
And that tire's coming apart there, throwing a bunch of sparks and catching on fire. And I know a little something about that from my camper this week.
Yeah, and you see now it's just not a simple matter of changing tires. They've got to repair whatever damage it did by running along 2 miles, grinding everything.
Probably hit a brake line, something like that. But we're under green, though. 12 laps in of 76 here at Talladega. Tom Hessert out at the front of the field.
Yeah, we don't have the side-by-side battle for the lead right now like we had earlier. See, Bobby Gerhart, that 5 black car, has been able to push Tom Hessert out in front. Krzyzewski, the 52, right there in 3rd. Gus Dean now in a battle for 4th with Brady Boswell in the 22.
Here's that group that we were talking about earlier. Those black cars are tied together. Will Kimmel from Indiana in the 69 and that 77, and now we're 3 wide right behind them.
They were 4 wide for a moment. That's Terry Jones, that black number 30 on the outside. Terry's a super speedway specialist, runs mostly just here in Daytona.
It'll be interesting to see if there's any way Will Kimmel can get a solid finish today without having some sort of a problem. Those guys have been plagued with more different issues than you could ever imagine, but running with Chase Briscoe's got to help.
You remember 3 or 4 laps ago we looked at them. They were way behind that lead pack. They worked together, caught this lead pack. Now they're well up into the top 10.
Great season start for Briscoe for sure, but we want to get an update on the driver in third position right now. Back to Jim Trado.
And Ray, the only voice on the radio for the 52 Ansel Menard's machine is the spotter Rocky Ryan. Driver Matt Krzyzewski very happy with his race car. This car actually sat on the pole at our first race of the year at Daytona with young Cole Custer behind the wheel. Schrader Racing had 2 entries in that race today. Krzyzewski confident with his crew chief Donnie Richardson. This car is the car to beat because Krzyzewski said qualifying was a different beast. It didn't show how fast my car was. When I get the chance, I want to get out to lead this race. He's very confident now, and this young man got this ride because of his great performances on super speedways. He finished 6th here last year with a different team. Now full-time effort this year for that young driver in the 52 machine out of Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Jim. We see Will Kimmel trying to take a look up to the high side a little bit. He's running right behind Andy Seiss, and you're right, that second line, Phil, has dropped back about 3 positions.
Been really impressed with Andy Seiss. Very little super speedway experience. He's a 2-time defending Whelen Modified Southern Division champion. 21 wins in that series, doing an awesome job here.
His wife, Jen, Phil, is 5 months pregnant. Guess when her due date is? It's on the day of the Bristol Modified race, and he said, I'll bet you she's there.
Tommy Prater also doing a great job. Tommy's running up in the top 10. He's that 9 car, black and white car on the inside line, 5th back.
DK Lock, the sponsorship on that number 9. They're out of Alabama, so that would be a really big deal for them, obviously. Mobile is the hometown for Thomas the Moose Prater.
Yeah, Tommy's best career finish was at Mobile. He finished 7th last year, looking to improve on that.
That second line starting to inch back up just a little bit by little bit. I think we're about to get into a position where we've got them too wide once again. You see a look there at Brady Boswell. He's from Watkinsville, Georgia. Let's get an update from Caitlin.
Well, he is from Georgia, but he told me he's always wanted to race here at Talladega. And he told me the strategy for them was to be smart, make the right decisions, move up through the field. And it seems like they are doing just that. They qualified 9th, have already moved up, it looks like, into the top 5. And he just told his team over the radio, this 22, it wants to go. And his crew chief, Paul Andrews, who was a crew chief for Alan Kilwicki back in 1992, said, this is not the time to make a move. Just ride there for quite a while. I will let you know when to go.
All right, thank you, Caitlin. And by the way, I just remembered that your hometown is actually Bridgewater. She's not from the entire state of Virginia. 15 laps of 76 completed. You're watching the General Tire 200 on FS1.
It's time for a change. A new plan needs a new boss. It's time for something more surprising, more British, more Jaguar.
We've already created a beast. Now it's time for a new animal with the same potent DNA, but even more ruthlessly efficient.
Unleash the cat.
Introducing the new generation of Jaguar.
Back at Talladega, you know the ARCA car is going about 188 miles an hour here. But when we go to NHRA in Houston coming up next, they'll be a lot faster than that. The drag racers are following stock car racing from right here at Talladega.
These guys are really going fast. Those drag racers go pretty fast, too.
Really fast.
Yeah.
What we got going on here?
We got a lap car. He's down on the inside. It always causes some problems, especially when you're running right against the double yellow line. Watch how close these go. Look at the contact with Brett Holmes in the 23 car.
Wow. And they're 4 wide right there when he makes contact with Holmes driving that number 23.
Watch the left side of your screen. Brett never even backed off when he made that contact. But we're going to have to keep an eye on that, make sure he doesn't have a tire rub. You know who his crew chief is, right?
Yep.
Grant Enfinger.
Yeah. Last year's champion, Grant Enfinger, won the first 3 races of the season in 2 consecutive years. He's from Fairhope, Alabama, and this young man driving the car right now is from Mumford. It's about 10 miles from this racetrack. If those 2 guys could team up and win this race, I got to tell you, the fans will go nuts. They love this Alabama gang junior division group.
Boy, Andy Seiss is dropping back to 0-2. Don't know if he had a problem or just got shuffled out of the draft. Looks like he may have just gotten kicked out of the draft because he's getting back up to speed now. but he was running up in the top 5. He was running 4th the last time by here, and he's going to be running about 24th when they get back here this lap.
Now Gus Dean is in front. He's on the bottom line. It looks like right now Tommy Hessert's going to come up out of that bottom line, go to the second group, and try to pull Sean Corr along with him. But look right behind that group. Here come the 69 and 77 together. Those two black cars are flying, Jim Trado.
Both young drivers told me before the race they want to team up. Their qualifying was subpar. Will Kimmel back in the 16th position. Chase Briscoe in the Cunningham Motorsports 77. He started this race in 20th. What did they do on the start? They went to the very top side and started clicking off position after position after position. Will Kimmel's now in the 5th position in that E3 Spark Plugs number 69 Chevrolet, and Chase Briscoe's right there with him. This tandem has been working massively to get to the front, but one caution of warning to the 77 machine. The rookie hopeful, Chase Briscoe, keep an eye on your temperatures. You've been behind that 69 a long time. If it gets above 230, pull out if you need to, because it might get a little warm in that hood, as much as you're putting that front bumper of yours behind the rear bumper, Will Kimmel, as they advance to the front.
That group's on the outside, Phil, but also keep an eye down on the inside as that number 22, Brady Boswell, is driving a very fast race car for Cunningham Motorsports 2. Both of those two cars are former winners here at Talladega, and Hessert is now a leader at Talladega.
He doesn't want to get too big a lead. He's going to have to work the inside and the outside. He doesn't want Sean Corr, that 48, to get that much momentum. Now they're 3 wide behind him.
Will Kimmel going to the middle. Gus Dean down on the bottom, and Sean Corr says, I don't want anything to do with that. And it looks like Corr's going to get shuffled out as the two bottom lines go right by him. Watch that 48 drop like a rock.
Yeah, I don't think that was by choice. He just got shuffled out there. He left just enough room in the middle for Will Kimmel to jump in that hole. Now he's screaming at his spotter, please let me get me back down. Get me back down.
Help me, buddy, help me. Gus Dean came to Daytona, said, we've got an opportunity to do one race, and that's going to be it for the year. We're going to go back and run our late model in North Carolina and South Carolina, and he got a little taste of this and said, I got to come back and give it another try. And Gree, that's on the hood of that race car, I've heard, is interested in maybe bumping up their sponsorship. That'll be good news.
And they're going to run the second Pocono with Gree as well.
General Tire 200 underway at Talladega.
Are you ready for something awesome? Like, I don't know, watching Major League Baseball on Fox Sports 1 every Saturday? Pedroia's ready. So is Fielder. Manny? Actually, I don't know what he just said there, but he looks ready. I have no idea how Harper has the time, but he's ready.
He's done it again!
And you? The only thing you need to get ready is this, these, and this.
Great racing action here at Talladega for the ARCA Racing Series. It's event number 4 of 2016. We've got 20 races throughout the season. We go to 18 different tracks, and this is certainly one of the favorites for the drivers. Tommy Hessert has gotten back out in front of the pack, and Philly keeps splitting from the first line to the second, trying to break that draft.
He does a good job. He's not trying to break the draft. He just doesn't want one line or the other to get the momentum. He's going to move to the outside to pull that outside line up. Then if the inside starts coming, then he'll move down in front of the inside line.
So Hessert now to the high side. Will Kimmel coming up right behind the back of that number 25, and Gus Dean down to the inside. Looks like that high line's getting a little momentum. Chase Briscoe in third. Can they get past the inside? Not yet.
Yeah, well, that's what Tom Hessert would love to see, the 69 as well as the 77 clear of Gus Dean as well. Then he may elect to move back down to the bottom once he gets those two fast black cars in front of the 98 of Gus Dean.
Bobby Gerhard down on the inside. Right behind him, the number 52 of Matt Krzyzewski. Lots of very, very good race cars in this field. I said the Daytona field was the best I'd ever seen. This one rivals it for sure.
Ray, I looked at the starting lineup, and the guys back there, as you can see, the 77 of Chase Briscoe pushing Will Kimmel. Back in 25th, he said, this car can win the race.
Yep.
Anybody, just about anyone in this field, certainly anybody in this draft right here can win this thing. But, again, it's not that easy.
Right.
They're in position, can be in position, but it's hard to do at the right time.
Look on the outside about 4 cars back. You see that orange car? That is Josh Williams. This is the little team that could. They've got Musselman's applesauce on the side of that number 6, and guess what?
They did.
Got
They
his
did.
first career win.
The little team that could and did.
Finally got it off they're back. And he said, you know what? He said, now that Danny Johnson is their crew chiefing and helping him out, if you know, it was just Josh doing the entire thing with a couple of helpers. Danny Johnson's made a big difference there, and he said they've got a car that can win today.
Yeah, and they're still he's just still one of 4 employees, as Caitlin told us at the top of the show. Here's the General Tire on board, Krzyzewski with Josh Williams, that 6 car right on his outside. These guys racing up in the top 10.
Krzyzewski, as we said, ran only the super speedways last year, won the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge, and he kind of said to me at the banquet, I think this is it. I think I'm going to ride off into the sunset, and who knows what next year will bring. Wasn't sure if they'd make it to Daytona or not, and then guess what? The phone rang from Kenny Schrader, and he said, I've got a deal for you.
Yeah, what a deal. What an opportunity for Krzyzewski to be with somebody like Kenny Schrader, who loves this sport, loves this ARCA racing series, and always has very, very competitive cars, and we're side by side for the lead.
Here we go. Hesser down to the inside. Will Kimmel going to try to go to the lead on the high side. Gus Dean keeping in real tight there with Tommy Hesser. And we also talk about that Chase Briscoe. He is right there. That number 77 car was the one that Hesser used to win in 2014. The car that Boswell is driving, Blake Jones won with a year ago here at this track.
And remember, Tom Hesser was leading last year with 2 or 3 laps to go and ran out of gas. He could have gone back to back.
I said to him, you know, you probably ought to be a 3-peat. He says 2 out of 3 ain't. Of course, he hasn't got the 2 out of 3
Exactly.
yet.
We're a long way from that.
Well, Scott Brands have been around for a long time in ARCA, and they sponsor the Rookie Challenge, and we like to put a little spotlight on Brandon Lynn. This young driver driving for Lyra Motorsports has done a very good job this season. He's had really good finishes. Brandon Lynn had a 6th place run at Nashville and an 8th at Salem, so he's right in there in the points and leading our Scott Brands Rookie Challenge.
Yeah, and they just announced today that Scott Brands will be the sponsor of our ARCA race at Chicago later on this year.
We're on board with Brandon Lynn right now, currently running in 12th position.
Got that number 12 Tyler Audi right in front of him. All these guys running up in the top 10 right now, doing an amazing job here. 30 green flag laps here.
Well, we're on our way towards the halfway point here at Talladega. You're watching the General Tire 200. We'll be right back.
When you win over 1,800 TripAdvisor Certificates of Excellence, U.S. News and World Report Loyalty Awards, and AAA Hotel Partner of the Year 7 times, you do a victory dance.
Stay 2 separate times and get a $25 gift card. Book now at bestwestern.com.
We're back at Talladega, but you know it's been 76 days since Fox Sports brought you the live coverage from Daytona of the Lucas Oil 200. However, the ARCA teams have been very busy. They've had trips to the short tracks in Tennessee and Indiana. Here's Fairground Speedway. That was April 9th. And man, we had a good race there. Josh Williams just said, you know what? It is finally the time for me to do it. He does the donuts and gets the win. His first career win and the guitar. And then we went to Salem Speedway. How about this? Christopher Bell in his first ever career start. And he's battling side by side. He says, you know what? I'm not going to take no for an answer. Comes off of turn number 4, and Venturini Motorsports gets another win. Christopher Bell, first-time winner in his first career start.
And remember, we'll see him next week at Kansas in our Truck Series event.
You know, Mark Thompson is in this race today in the number 66.
How about the 25 of Tom Hessert? Got lost the draft here.
Oh, boy, Hessert from the front, and he gets shuffled up to the high side.
We talk about him being one of the guys that we know that knows how to get up front here. I don't think he wanted to be back there unless maybe his car was overheating or something.
Boy, I'll tell you though, Phil, he goes from there all the way back to the mid-20s.
See, he's already shuffled out there. That's where they were lapping John West. You see John West, that green car on the inside with all that damage from that flat tire.
The guys in the garage told me that Jive has come on full time with John West Townley. They're a messaging service, and apparently they're going to sponsor that car for the rest of the year. So they were hoping to continue their momentum, but obviously Townley in very trouble today. He's 5 laps down, back in 32nd.
You can see he was down below the double yellow line, and that's okay. You just can't go down there to improve your position. He was just trying to get out of the way, doing a nice job.
We're on the number 98. That is Gus Dean with the Gree on board.
Chase Briscoe, the 77 on the outside. These guys are battling for the second spot. That's Will Kimmel, that black number 69 right out in front.
He's a worldwide company. They make cooling products, and as I said, the talk in the garage is that they're interested in doing more. That's good news for sure. We'll see if Gus Dean is able to continue in that role. And right now, Dean looking down to the inside. Will Kimmel split in the middle again.
He's doing the same thing that Tom Hessert was doing earlier. He just wants to keep both rows behind him. It's a pretty tough job, and he's got to use his spotter and look in that mirror constantly.
Hessert has dropped back to 23rd position, 1.15 seconds behind. It doesn't seem like a very far distance, but it's a long way through that pack.
Yeah, you see him 3 wide now on the top of the racetrack, that outside line. We'll check to see maybe if he had some sort of a heating problem or just got shuffled out of the draft and trying to make his way back up towards the front.
Hessert led the white flag lap here last year driving for Cunningham, and as he went towards turn number 1, he ran out of fuel. Probably a gallon and a half would have got him back to the start-finish line. Maybe a half a gallon, I'm not sure.
Yeah. These guys, they get about 6 miles to the gallon with these Elmore engines, ARCA Elmore engines.
Will Kimmel from Sellersburg, Indiana. This is a family that's been in ARCA racing for a long, long time. His dad, Bill, is his crew chief. His Uncle Frank's a 10-time champion here in ARCA. Willoughby is today here at Talladega. Great side-by-side racing in the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards. I'm Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons. We've got Caitlin Vincey and Jim Trado covering the pits today. And the big question coming up, folks, is
when we're going to pit.
Right. When will you pit?
It's going to be pretty soon, I think, because we're past halfway. The guys know that if they top them off now, that they'll be able to get to the end of the race. So I would say just in the matter of the next 3 or 4 laps, we may see the early comers. Look at them racing side by side, 3 wide, about 6 rows back.
And we see a number of guys ducking and looking. Here we go, 3 wide and a group of 5 rows back here to the outside. Andy Seiss trying to get his way back to the front. He got shuffled out earlier. There's Mark Thompson we talked about in that Phoenix Air number 66. If he were able to win today, Phil, he would become the oldest driver to ever win on a super speedway. On July 9th, he'll turn 65 years old.
Wow. Right now, the 59 car, Corbin Forrester, is running in the 25th spot. He's a 2nd and 6/10 behind the leader.
Oh dear, oh dear. Here's the biggest question though. How are you going to signal to the other guys that you're going to pit road, and can they do it effectively?
That's where you work with your spotters. Let everyone know around you. Wave your arm so they can see you. And when you come off 4 here, take a look at this. If I'm going to pit, I'm going to pull way to the inside. I want to make sure I'm way out of the way because you don't get penalized for moving inside of the double yellow line unless you're improving your position. I want to get way out of the way of the racetrack.
Tom Hessert had moved up a bit, but now he's back to 21st, and we know that car is fast enough to go. I wonder if he shouldn't just consider ducking down and being one of the first to pit road.
You got to have some help. You don't want to do it by yourself.
That's true. Thomas Prater in the number 9 having a good run, right, Caitlin?
He certainly has, and he's got an experienced spotter helping him. It's Joey Logano's spotter in the Cup Series, Tab Boyd. He said, we can go 45 laps on fuel, but beyond that, we are pushing it. So they're planning to pit soon, get fuel only, as well as the 22 of Brady Boswell, also going to be doing fuel only on their pit stop, guys.
Well, we're hearing on the radio that the front couple cars are thinking about coming this time. Can they get down off the racetrack that quickly? They're off turn 4, and Will Kimmel, will he look at it? Nope, going to run one more lap.
And I know probably the black number 77 of Chase Briscoe would like to pit with Will as well because they've been together this entire race, but it's going to be hard to pit from the outside line. You really want to be on that inside line.
And a lot of these guys, especially the young rookies, during practice, tried to figure out how they could get the approach to pit road and getting down to pit road speed and get in that box and not slide the tires.
But that wasn't with 24 other cars around you either.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Again, a lot of these crew chiefs do not want to change tires. They just want to top these things off with fuel. But if these guys lock the brakes up to get down to pit road speed, then they'll have to change tires.
Gus Dean with the nose right on the back of Will Kimmel, pushing him hard. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is right ahead of those guys in car number 12. Or excuse me, that's not 12.
64, Bobby Hamilton
is Bobby Hamilton, and he said, I'm going to get out of the way. Bobby Hamilton splits, and a number of guys coming down there, but can they get slowed down in time?
So far, so good. We've avoided disaster. Oh, no, we didn't. There's Andy Seiss getting turned around towards the racetrack in the 0-2 car. I think Corbin Forrester, the 59, was about. How about the 69 of Will Kimmel, Jim?
It's fuel only for the leader. He actually was in discussion with his team. His dancing partner had been the 77 of Chase Briscoe. They are now trying to get the second can of fuel in before Will Kimmel leaves his pit box. That leaves him on pit road. Briscoe is down and away with the fuel only on the 77. Caitlin?
Well, Brady Boswell in that 22 machine, we've seen him running very well throughout the course of this race, much like the other competitors, fuel only for the 22, guys.
And the yellow flag has come out, Caitlin. That will change the complexity of this one, as the 77 first off pit road, and then his teammate of the 22 will follow close behind. Really good stop for Bo Lamastus in the Crosley number 42. He'll come out fourth. So Andy Seiss gets turned around, and that pulls out the yellow. We'll update you with where your favorite driver is running when we come back to Talladega.
All new Wednesday, the coaches' feud intensifies.
I'm gonna punch you so hard.
She's the worst trash talker I ever seen.
As they take their top fighters to the cage.
Both of these women were the first picked by their coaches.
It's only just begun.
This fight's gonna set the tone for the rest of the season.
And the big guns are already out.
JJ, fearless.
Tatiana can take you down and smash you.
I'm gonna bring a war.
The biggest fight of the season.
Welcome back to live coverage of the General Tire 200 here at Talladega. Pit stops now for the remaining of our cars on the lead lap. The caution flag flew. On top, we see Josh Williams, who made his way to the front. He's down and away with fuel only. The 32, the Lee Boy machine with Wintron Racing. They're trying to get as much fuel as they can in for their 22-year-old driver, Shane Lee. Caitlin?
Well, looking at Bobby Gerhardt in the 5 car at the bottom of your screen, he originally wanted to pit with that first group of guys, but he couldn't get slowed up safely in time, so now they're having to pit, also taking tires. One of the few cars we've seen take tires and fuel as well for the 5 machine, guys.
Well, there's no question about it. This field is officially shuffled from what we had going on there with this round of pit stops. And also we saw Brandon Lynn, our leading contender in the Scott Brands Rookie of the Year, not going to get his car fired up after his pit stop. He was running in the top 10, and he'll be way in the back of the field.
Let's see what caused that incident as we got to pit road. They're going to approach the... Watch, see him wave his hand. He's trying to let these guys know, here I am, I'm a slow car. So all the spotters are alerting them to Bobby Hamilton Jr. being on the bottom. But as they exit turn number 4, again, he's right next to the double yellow line. But you watch these cars get together. The 0-2 of Andy Seiss, the 59 of Corbin Forrester. I thought we had gotten through it. Yeah. I thought we'd avoided disaster. Right at the tail end of these lead lap cars coming to pit road, they got together.
So right now, the number 38 of Sheldon Creed is the leader, and we'll set the lineup when we come back.
Your name's been in a lot of places. But there's only one place you really want to see it.
Things are always exciting here at Talladega. You're watching the General Tire 200 for the ARCA Racing Series. We've shuffled the lineup a bit, and we're getting ready to line them up and go back to green. You know, Matt Krzyzewski qualified 5th today, and we mentioned that he won the General Tire Super Speedway Championship a year ago. This year he's got a new team, and our friends from General Tire want to get a chance for you to know these drivers a little bit better. Here's Matt Krzyzewski from Mansfield, Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Matt Krzyzewski from Mansfield, Pennsylvania. I drive the Ansel and Menards number 52 for Kenny Schrader Racing. Well, I first started racing when I was 5 years old, followed in the footsteps of my father from Mansfield, Pennsylvania. Started out in quarter midgets, went from a legend car into an SK modified. I had raced my first ARCA race with the Keselowski family, Ron, Bob, and Brian, about 3-4 years ago. The Keselowskis and our family, we'd stayed in touch and decided, well, let's go run Daytona and Talladega. And we had no points, come down, make the show on time or go home. We made the race, and I can remember we ended up leading a lap or two, and Bob Keselowski came over the radio and he says, open your eyes, look up, you're leading a lap at Daytona. And I get goosebumps right now thinking back to it. It was pretty neat. Got a phone call one night, a voice on the other end of the phone, hello, this is Kenny Schrader. I had to pull the phone away from my face to smile. I was smiling so big. like to come drive for myself with Menards and Ansel, we'd really like to have you. Really hoping to get Kenny a win here sometime sooner than later, get the first one out of the way. From what I've been told, the first one's always the most difficult. Championship would be nice, but I'd like to win some races. The hardware is pretty nice. I love the ARCA community. It's a tight community, it's laid back, it's like a family, so it's enjoyable for me to come to the track every week. I love where I am, I'm very fortunate.
And glad to have Matt part of the ARCA family. He's an avid bicycle rider in great shape, and we have a feeling that first win's right around the corner.
It is, but unfortunately I have some bad news, Ray. He is one of the guys that was busted for speeding on pit road during his pit stop. We had the 77 of Chase Briscoe, Krzyzewski in the 52, the 22 of Brady Boswell, Bobby Hamilton Jr., as well as Corbin Forster, all speeding on pit road. They will have to restart this race from the back. And the 38, we said Sheldon Creed was leading. He actually pitted that next lap. The caution was already out, so he's deemed pitting too soon. He's got to go to the back as well. We talked at the top of the show, not make any mistakes on pit road especially. We had 6 guys make mistakes.
And it's all about figuring out how you can be in the right place at the right time, but we've still got a while to do it. And talking about Sheldon Creed, let me tell you what, this is some fierce action in super trucks. He was the champion. That's Robbie Gordon in the yellow truck who gave him a little bit of extra push, but Sheldon Creed said, you know what, I'm not done racing yet.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago at Long Beach, and what an amazing job. What an amazing race these two guys put on. Sheldon Creed, our champion from last year in the Super Truck Series, and what an amazing look at Robbie. He did all he could do to avoid hitting him again.
Now check out the donuts at the win. He starts doing the donuts before he even got to the start-finish line. How about that?
They put on a show, didn't they?
That is fantastic. Great racing.
First guy to get to him in victory lane, Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sheldon's from California. I asked him, what's your favorite racetrack? And he says, Crandon, Wisconsin. I said, they don't race stock cars there. So he will not be our leader when we restart. He is going to have to drop back. Let's get another update from pit road. Back to Caitlin.
Well, Ray, you were talking about guys who were caught speeding on pit road. Brady Boswell, one of them. His crew chief, Paul Andrews, said, we topped it off good with fuel. We should be pretty good from here on out, but just conserve just to be sure. And Brady said, I've actually never conserved fuel before. How do I do it? He said, just don't spend a lot of on-throttle time on these caution laps. Jim.
It was a little case of deja vu for his Cunningham Motorsports teammate, the number 77 of Chase Briscoe. He's way in the back because when they pitted from third, they may not have gotten enough fuel in the car. In that discussion was Chase going down pit road, and he was pinched for speeding. So Briscoe's car came back in. They ended up changing 4 General Tire radials and topping off the remainder of the fuel in the tank. So the fuel issue is not the worry. Now the worry is to get back to the front. He went all the way to P3 with Will Kimmel. They're in a whole lot different position now in the number 77 Dodge, trying to get their position back. And his crew chief was in the same position a year ago. Chad Bryant said to me, I think we can do this, but 1 year ago, his car sputtered and lost the race because of a fuel pickup and not enough fuel on the pit stop here at Talladega 1 year ago. So that deja vu all over again is now avoided for this team.
Well, Boswell's going to restart 17th, and Briscoe will be 19th. If any 2 cars can get back to the front, I have a feeling it's the Cunningham cars.
There are certain kinds of roads built for certain kinds of cars, sweeping you up in a moment of pure driving enjoyment. Just don't get too carried away. The Mazda 3.
Hey folks, are you ready for some UFC? Well, Sunday morning, you're going to want to wake up early. We've got a great lineup as Alistair Overeem is going to take on Andrei Arlovski. Plus, we've got a battle of the giants. How about Bigfoot versus Struve? I like that Steven Skyscraper Struve. I think he's going to pull it off. It's Sunday, May 8th at 11 a.m.
Live from Rotterdam.
Yeah.
And Holland.
And guess what? A couple of these guys are Dutch, too, so that's going to make it. There'll be a lot of people there for
Absolutely.
UFC. We're getting the 1 to go signal, folks. 25 laps to go. Oh, Prater looks like he had a little bit of a run in there. Some damage on the...
I think that probably happened in that coming to pit road incident. Yeah. Tommy had such a great run going, was up in the top 5 at one time, top 10. Still on the lead lap. They just need to get some clearance for that right front General Tire.
Get him a chance to get back out there and not have a tire rub and they'll be good to go. He's still got another 20 or 30 seconds, and he can rejoin the field for sure, as they're just rolling through turn number 2 right now.
How about Bo Lamastus with the lead right now? Bo had a great run at Daytona. It's actually his career best finish. He finished 6th in Daytona this year.
Bo Lamastus has really improved his effort. Got a lot of good people working for him. Jeff Bodine helps him out as a driving coach. You see Crosley radios on the front of that race car.
How about the 55 car? That's Dalton Sargent. First super speedway race ever. He had a great run just the other day. He finished 3rd at Salem.
Got a bystander down in the pits right now, right, Caitlin?
I sure do, and it's Carl Edwards from the Sprint Cup Series. You're here for Brett Holmes, a friend of yours. Talk about his career and how you're out here supporting him.
Well, Stacy and the whole Holmes family. Stacy is his father, and he's done a lot for me. Got to drive his dirt car and had a really good time with it a couple of times. And it's so cool to see Brett here, basically at his home track, getting to do something like this that he loves. So trying to make my way down there and just get to be there and be around it. It's so cool to see see families doing this and racing together and all that energy. So hopefully get down there and just get to be a part of it.
All right, thank you, Carl, guys.
May 5th is Brett Holmes' birthday, and he'll be turning 19, but he said the racing's not over for this weekend. Tomorrow night they're going to go off to Montgomery, Alabama, and run the Pro Late Model.
Well, you got a big one here, though. Still in contention, running up in the top 10 right now.
Bo Lamastus down to the inside. Will Kimmel on the outside, getting ready for the green flag, and we're back underway with 25 laps to go right here at Talladega Superspeedway.
See that white car, 3rd row inside. Tom Hessert back in a good position, has a teammate, Dalton Sargent, right in front of him.
A couple of Venturini cars could hook up together for sure. I have a feeling those Cunningham cars are going to be coming to the front. And also, don't forget, Lira Motorsports has 4 cars entered in the field today. So will teammates make a factor in who wins today's race? We'll find out together.
Yeah, we know the 77 and the 22. The Cunningham Motorsports teammates are going to work together, Boswell and Briscoe. I think they've already jumped to the outside line already in those black cars.
Tom Hessert down to the inside. There you take a look at Chase Briscoe, and he's got the 52 of Kurziewski now splitting between his teammates.
Yeah, that's a pretty good draft right there. Let's see if they can make any ground up on the outside. You can hear Kurziewski just holding that thing wide open around here.
About 65% of the cars in this field, Phil, were the same exact cars that raced at Daytona. And everybody said, look, you know, we went back and tuned on them a little bit, but a lot of these guys didn't do much more than a little bit of work and put a cover on it and bring it to Talladega.
Yeah, a lot of them didn't need to. A lot of good cars out here.
3 wide in that group behind, and there's Kurziewski and Briscoe to the high side of that 3 wide. They don't want to be there for long.
Remember, the very top of the show, Ray, you asked me as a crew chief, what do you need to do to win this thing, to be in position towards the end of the race?
Right.
You see these guys up here, Tom Hessert, we saw him drop back to about 25th. He's back up here in the top 5 right now. He's in position as well as all these other guys. We're going to have to wait and see if the Cunningham cars on the outside can make their way back up in position.
Right behind this group, they're going 3 wide. That's Gus Dean in the middle. Josh Williams to the high side, and they're 3 wide with down on the inside. It's the 23 of Brett Holmes.
Yeah, that's not what Josh wanted. Ooh, look at the little bit of side drafting. Willie Mullins, the 34 on the inside, looked like he maybe had a little bit of contact.
You know, Bobby Gerhardt has won here. He's won at Daytona. His cars are always so good. He's driving Sweet Pea today. That's one of his favorite super speedway cars. But he told me a lot of the guys on the racetrack will not help him out.
That car has been to Victory Lane 3 times, once here and twice at Daytona.
9-time winner on super speedways is Bobby Gerhardt, but I'm thinking if I'm in that group, I'd want to go. But look at this. We got 2 or 3 rows of 4 wide in the middle of the racetrack.
Unbelievable. Chase Briscoe, the 77, right up against the wall. There's the 58 of Kyle Weatherman. Bobby Gerhardt, Willie Mullins, 4 wide.
On the outside, Kurziewski. Then it's Mark Thompson in the Phoenix Air, number 66. Down to the inside, Terry Jones, and they are jostling all around as it's 4 wide, 3 rows deep.
Yeah, Willie Mullins needs to stay against that double yellow line. When they're 4 wide, he doesn't have any room to move up the racetrack. A little bit of contact back there.
I got to tell you guys, you're worrying me here. This is too many laps to go to be racing that hard, that many rows back. But I guess if you want to get to the front.
Well, this is when business picks up. They know we're up just about 20 laps to go. You have to get yourself in position to have a shot at this race.
Kimmel has been out front today. Hessert's been out front. Gus Dean, Lamastus, Creed, and Williams. We've had 6 different leaders in this race today, Will Kimmel has led the most laps so far.
How about Josh Williams? We counted him out, got shuffled out just a few moments ago. Right now back up to the 3rd spot on the outside line.
Josh Williams now down to the inside. Gus Dean with a really good run. And guess who our leader is?
Tom Hesser.
23rd position about 15 laps ago. The caution came out, the pit cycle happened, a number of guys got penalized, and that relax wraps Camry is back up front. Here's an onboard that will show you what it was like to be behind the wheel. Kyle Weatherman says, I do not like the looks of this. And they're wide open, Phil. Nobody's lifting at all when they're in that group.
No. Even when they're losing ground, they're wide open. They're just getting sucked back. Caution now on the racetrack.
We have a car that is stalled on the front stretch, and it's John West Townley in the 05. So the ARCA officials said we cannot leave that car there with these guys at full speed, so they're going to back them down. We're under only our 2nd caution of the day, inside of 20 laps to go. Well, now we're going to reset and do it again.
Yeah, we stay out. No, we don't need to come to pit road.
Not going to need tires, so they'll try to get that 05 rolling. We'll come back with more racing from Talladega Superspeedway.
In my work, I take pride in what I do, and I take charge. That means no compromise on quality. It's my work, my way. And that's why I work with Scott Rags and Scott Shop Towels. For every task at hand, from prep to cleanup, Scott is the right choice to get the job done right. Got a big job this weekend? I say give it your best, Scott. Scott Shop Towels and Scott Rags in a box. Now available at Menards.
I'll tell you what, folks, if you're a premier boxing fan, there's no way you'll forget that 2011 Fight of the Year. Oh, man, Victor Ortiz and Andre Berto, they're going to have another chapter on the most intense fights of the decade. And guess what? It all starts at 8 p.m. tomorrow on your local Fox station, or you can watch it on Fox Sports Go. We got boxing, we got UFC, and we've got a heavyweight bout coming your way here at Talladega. Tom Hessert has gone back to the lead, driving that number 25. And Phil, why don't you see if you can talk to him?
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, Tom Hessert, Phil Parsons up in the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
How you doing?
Good, man. You're in a great spot here, inside of 20 laps to go. But I'm telling you, you had us a little bit nervous about 15 laps ago when you run at 25th.
You and me both, man. I don't know, I just kind of made a bad move in the trial hole, got shuffled back there. But fortunately picked up some spots to get the pit road, and I've been running to it. It's been really strong all day, so looking forward to trying to close this thing out.
You got the lead. Is that where you want to be, Tom? You're going to try to hold that the rest of the way?
I don't know. You know, it's awful tough to say, Phil. You know, the top seems to be the place where you kind of manage the traffic best. So we're going to keep trying to do that and see what happens. But, I mean, it's an awfully competitive race, so nothing's a lock.
All right, buddy. Done a great job so far. Finish it off.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Well, Tom Hessert has been out front for 19 laps today, but another driver spent a lot of time up there. 16 laps led for Will Kimmel. And for an update on him, we go back to pit road and Jim Trado.
And Ray, the driver that Hessert took that lead from was Will Kimmel under green. And what Will has said on the radio is, I like my car as a leader. In practice this morning, he was happy with his car out front. Others followed him. He got a push from to the front earlier in the race from Chase Briscoe. Right now, however, back in that 5th position, 6th position for Will Kimmel. That's exactly where he does not want to be. He did not want to see this caution because he was preparing for yet another run to get Hessert as the leader in the line that Hessert was not in on the inside. So we'll see how Will Kimmel can respond. One driver happy with when this caution flew was Josh Williams. We talked about how strong this young man has been all day in that number 6 Musselman's Applesauce Chevrolet. He is happy to see that caution because he was able to tell his team, this gives me a chance to think about it, guys, because I've got a really good race car. I got to figure out where I want to put it. And it looks like he may be after his 2nd victory already this season. We'll keep an eye on that orange number 6 car as well.
Well, we showed you the highlights. Josh Williams with his first career win while we were away. Let's take a look at the upcoming races. We'll be off to the Toledo Speedway next. That's in May. And then the road course in New Jersey. We'll be back on FS1 at Pocono. And how about Michigan? Those 2 tracks back to back. That is a real challenge for these drivers. They go to a 2.5-mile tri-oval, and then on the big track,
wicked fast in Michigan.
Irish Hills. So yeah, lots of good racing coming your way. There's 20 events for the ARCA Racing Series, and you have to say it's the most diverse. You see that New Jersey, that's a road course. They also go to the dirt tracks over in Springfield and DuQuoin, Illinois. They race at the short tracks, super speedways. They got it all going on.
Yeah, they really do. For a long time, they were the most diverse series in the country, and now, obviously, with the trucks going to Eldora, it rivals that.
Yeah, they run on the dirt now, too. So Tommy Hessert is up front. Gus Dean has had a very good car throughout the course of the day today. Williams in third, and we also see Shane Lee up there in fourth, and Dalton Sargent in the top 5. I asked you at the top of the show, how do you get in position to be at the right place at the right time? 17 laps to go. When do you tell these guys to push the button?
I don't know. I think you wait. I think you watch Tom Hessert. He does a masterful job. He's one of the guys with experience getting to victory lane here. I think he's going to want to keep the lead and try to get out front and move from inside to outside to keep both those lanes behind him. But right now, you've got Chase Briscoe running in the 11th spot. He's going to feel like he's going to need to make something happen here. You've got Kyle Weatherman all the way back in 16th, Krzyzewski back in 17th. These guys are going to have to make something happen pretty quick.
Chase Briscoe, though, I said he was going to be able to restart with his teammate Boswell, but they have now gotten separated. So it looks like those two Cunningham cars split apart by about 3 rows.
Yeah. Right now, you're gonna whoever can help you, that's gonna be your new teammate.
Hey, buddy, come on, go
Absolutely.
with me. Well, everybody knows the 77 was the fastest car here the last couple of years, so they believe they're going to try to hook on with him for sure.
I was talking to Chase this morning, and he really felt like his car is a little bit better behind with somebody pushing him. So and somebody out front.
How about 24 cars still on the lead lap? We've got 6 drivers out front with 10 different lead changes. You can't ask for much more than that. But I got to tell you, Phil, I have a feeling here that this thing is going to get pretty wild, and we're going to see more of that 3 wide action those guys trying to get to the front.
3 wide? We had 4 wide racing before that caution came out just now.
Gus Dean, very little experience down to the inside. Tom Hessert, a 5-time winner here in the ARCA Racing Series. Josh Williams hoping for more. He got his first win on the short track.
How about Shane Lee running right now in the 4th spot? Hickory, North Carolina is his home track.
Doing a nice job for those Wintron boys, no question about that. Brett Holmes is right up there in the mix. He's currently in 7th, and again, as I said, a big portion of the crowd here is rooting Brett Holmes on, but most of them are saying, I hope that stuff to the west of us will stay away while we get another 17 laps in.
Yeah, you see Birmingham there, right there. That's about 40 miles from here, so I think we should be fine with only 16 laps to go.
The really good news is we're not racing in Jasper, Alabama
exactly,
right now.
Or Birmingham.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's definitely weather coming. That's why we had a quick start to today's action, but we think we'll get it in. Right now, 98 down to the inside, Tom Hessert to the high side, 16 laps to go. We're ready to go in the General Tire 200, back to green flag action.
You see Krzyzewski, they're already 4 wide at the start-finish line.
What a great run for Matt Krzyzewski. He said, I know the high side of the racetrack is open, and here he comes in the Menards and Ansel Chevrolet.
He's losing ground now. You see Bo Lamastus, the 42 went by. There's the 14 of Knowles going by. He's losing all those spots.
Wonder what happened there. It seemed like maybe the air just didn't work out, and
just didn't have enough help, I don't think, Ray.
Lost 6 or 7 positions. Did Matt Krzyzewski trying to go to the high side.
Look at that outside line. That's Shane Lee leading that in the 32 car, and then you have the 77 and the 69 hooked up again. Chase Briscoe, Will Kimmel.
Yeah, that is a group that I think really could be a contender. Again, the ultimate question is, will anybody try to go with Bobby Gerhart and help him? We all know that his car is always fantastic on the super speedways, and right behind him is Sheldon Creed.
Sean Corr, the 48 car, is going to dive in behind Will Kimmel. Now we've got a pretty good pack lining up in the outside.
Front 3 cars are single file. Then we have about 9 rows of 2x2 as we're coming up on 13 laps to go at Talladega.
Look at him jostling. How about Josh Williams? He jumped to the outside. He felt like the outside line had more momentum, and now he's battling side by side for the lead, and he has it.
3 wide in the 2nd row. Shane Lee to the high side.
Josh wants to get back down. He needs that help from Gus Dean, the 98 behind him. How about Chase Briscoe, 3rd in line on the outside?
How about Josh Williams coming to the front in the Musselman's applesauce number 6?
What a way to back up that Nashville win of a couple races ago with a Talladega win.
On board with the number 98, that is Gus Dean. That's the Gree on board.
See, Josh was able to clear the 25 of Hesser, then pull down to the inside.
Gus was so disappointed at Daytona. I'll tell you what, he's got to be smiling ear to ear today. That car has been fast since the drop of the green flag.
I don't think he's been out of the top 5 since the drop of the green flag.
Nope. Now here goes down to the inside.
Look at Tom Hesser pushing Josh Williams.
These bumpers will line up. You can definitely push the guy in front of you. All of these are steel-bodied cars on the racetrack. Of course, ARCA on the smaller racetracks has a composite body from 5-Star, but they have not yet made a decision about the future of super speedway racing at Daytona and Talladega. The outcome of today's race certainly could affect that.
Look at these cars dancing around. Josh Williams is out front now. He's going to try to play both lines. Look at him right in the middle of both lines, trying to keep both lines behind him.
Kimmel pushing Briscoe. They're back 2 rows deep. You see the 69 right on the backside of that number 77 for Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, that's a strong car of Gus Dean right in front of them, too. Those 3 cars may be able to make something happen. There's Dalton Sargent, the 55. A good run for that young man.
Absolutely. 2 Venturini cars hooked together, 25 and 55.
How about the push that Chase Briscoe, the 77, gave Gus Dean? Just about pushed him by Williams.
I want to tell you this. Do not count Sean Corr out in that number 48. That race car is very, very fast, and he's right there in the top 8.
Talk about being in the right position. These guys up in the top 5 rows right now are in the right position. As we get down a little bit later, you're going to have to be a little closer than that 5th row, though.
Gerhardt's in 9th position. I would be loving to hear the radio of what his brother and crew chief Billy's saying to him. And normally Bobby has good control of what he wants to do, but in a number of his super speedway wins, he's been on the outside row to make something happen. He's down to the inside here.
But all these cars are so equal right now. Ooh, look at Gus Dean, got a little shot from Chase Briscoe, turned him sideways.
Gus Dean held on, did a great job. That car was really wonky, but he goes to the high side. The number 6 of Williams is down to the inside. Great racing from Talladega as we're approaching 10 laps to go.
I just wonder if the 77 of Briscoe and the 69 of Kimmel will get together and say, okay, when we get a little momentum, we're going to the high side. I'm sure their spotters are standing side by side right now.
Matt Krzyzewski's thinking about going to the high side to go 3 wide. Can he do it? It didn't work out for him a few laps ago. He took a look, but nobody'd come with.
Boy, Josh Williams has done a great job since he wrestled the lead away from Tom Hessert. But look at Gus Dean. Look how close they're side drafting.
Absolutely awesome job as these guys are 2 by 2, 9 rows deep as the closing laps of the General Tire 200.
Oh, trouble.
And we've got a crash. Bo Lamastus is involved. He goes sliding down to the inside. The number 13 of George Cushman hits the wall to the inside. The yellow is out with 10 to go.
They were running so close, Ray. You just wondered when something like this was going to happen.
Lamastus with heavy damage on that race car.
Bo was doing a great job. Remember, his best career finish came just in February. Busted radiator for Bo Lamastus.
Yeah, it's going to take some serious cleanup there, too. The ultimate question is how many laps will we have to run under yellow here, and can they get that race car off of the safer barrier? How long will that take?
Terry Jones with a lot of damage.
Jones had a good run today. He had been in the top 15 a good portion of today's event.
A lot of damage to that Camry.
This accident happened back about 16th or 17th position. We'll see if we can get another look at it, but Terry Jones obviously going to be done for the day as far as competitiveness goes, and Bo Lamastus more than likely will be out of this race.
Yeah, I'm sure. You can see all the damage to that left front as well as the left rear, and it obviously has a busted radiator with the water running down the racetrack. Tough way to end this thing. You get inside of 10 laps to go and have a good run going, a shot for a good top 10, top 15 finish, and it ends like this for you.
You know, I know it's way early in the season to talk about points, but Bo was 5th, and he's committed to running all the races, and you've got a great attitude with some momentum going your way, and then you come here and get in a crash. It's certainly very disheartening.
Yeah, Bo had a super season last year. Finished 6th in points and national points. Good thing to see him jump out of that car, though. You can see how disappointed he is, and you can see it all over his face.
You know, I talked to you about the 5 drivers who are former winners in this field. We have Bobby Gerhart with 9 wins, Tommy Hessert obviously with 5. Both of those guys up front here with a legitimate shot. Mark Thompson, a 2-time winner, and Thompson back in about 17th. John West Townley out of this race, and Josh Williams with 1. Now we look back there, you see Terry Jones is on the high side. Oh, and Bo got tapped, looked like maybe by Krzyzewski, eh?
Yeah, and here comes Terry Jones. He runs into Cushman, as well as possibly even Bo in the 42.
7 or 8 cars got through that pretty well, though. It could have been much worse.
Yeah, this will be a good view right here. Watch about 6-8 rows back.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody got into the back of Bo, and it turned him sideways, got into the outside safer barrier, and then bounced off and into these other cars.
Yeah, it was Krzyzewski right behind him, I believe, and here's the onboard.
There's a bump right there. He actually picks the rear wheels up off the ground, and it turned the nose of Bo's car to the outside, and then he lost so much momentum that Matt really gave him a shot.
The good news was when Bo's car got turned sideways, he didn't hit the inside line of guys. So 6 or 7 cars, including Bobby Gerhart, did not get torn up because Bo did a nice job there.
Yeah, tough break for the guys involved, though, Cushman as well as Terry Jones. Going to ride along in the 58 car. You see there's the bump and into the outside wall.
Our only 2 former winners in the field today, Tom Hessert, Bob Gerhart. Bobby Gerhart will restart in 9th. Hessert is 4th. Is Gus Dean the favorite here?
Boy, he's got an awfully strong car. I don't know if we can count the favorite so far. Chase Briscoe now is up in the 3rd spot. Will Kimmel's going to be right behind him on the inside line.
Hear those 2 line up one more time. I'm really going to have fun watching that group, those 2 black cars.
Yeah, I like this inside line of the 98 of Dean, the 77 of Briscoe, the 69 of Kimmel, with Sean Corr behind Kimmel. Outside line, we're going to have Josh Williams, Tom Hessert, and Dalton Sargent. Another great line on the outside.
Speaking of Tom Hessert, I believe Caitlin has his crew chief.
Sure do. I'm joined by Ryan London here on top of the pit box. Ryan, how are you feeling about your race so far, and what's the strategy as we go towards these closing laps?
The race has been pretty good so far. I mean, the car's fast. Tom's done a great job. We get to restart on the outside. I think that's our best, spot to try to win this thing. It's probably going to be 5 to 4 laps when it goes back green after this cleanup. So we'll just see what happens. I mean, it's just going to be time to go.
All right. Thank you, Ryan, guys.
And I like that strategy. I like being on the outside, because if you're on the inside, you're going to be against that double yellow line, and your options are limited. You're on the outside, you have a chance to make it 3 wide.
The relax wraps are for stress and pain. And I'm thinking Tom Hessert might need one. I'm not sure, but I know I need one right now.
Tom doesn't need. His dad, I think, might need one, but Tom doesn't need one. Tom's fine.
All right, Tommy Hessert with a good race car, and we're going to get the closing laps of today's General Tire 200. A few things to clean up here on the Speedway.
Thanks for coming today.
How you doing?
Well, today's going to be pretty easy. I want each of you to grab a 2x8 and cut it. You'll have 2 saws to choose from, a power saw or a hand saw. So which saw did you use?
Power saw.
Power saw.
Power saw.
You all chose the most powerful tool. Wouldn't it make sense to make the same choice when it comes to your truck?
Absolutely.
This is the 2016 Chevy Silverado. It offers the most powerful engine in its class.
Awesome.
I'd say it's the best tool for the job.
Right on.
We've got a score to settle in ARCA, but tomorrow we're going to be back to NASCAR racing. The Xfinity Series, sponsored by Can-Am, is at 2:30 on Fox. And then Sunday, guess what? Back to Sprint Cup racing. It's the Geico 500, where Dale Jr. is the defending champion. That all begins at 12:30 Eastern on your local Fox station. So how about some NASCAR?
Yeah, a couple chase spots may be up for grab here. Who could maybe punch their ticket to the chase?
Absolutely, and Ness. We also got drag racing coming your way. We'll be heading down to Houston at the top of the hour. Qualifying will be coming up on FS1 after ARCA racing right here from Talladega. Glad to have you with us. I'm Ray Dunlap along with Phil Parsons. We're up high atop the booth, and down in the pits it's Jim Trado and Caitlin Vincey, and I think most of the people in the pits are starting to get a little bit nervous, just like I am, about how this one is going to end, as we are ready with 6 laps to go. And remember, ARCA has a green-white checker policy where even if we get a yellow flag towards the end, they're going to finish this thing under green if possible.
Yeah, we're in NASCAR after a little bit of damage to Dalton Sargent's Toyota right there. But if we get the white flag and then we have an accident or the caution comes out, we'll restart that race. We're NASCAR, if you get the white flag, then that will end the race if something happens.
Right, so we will get one to go coming up here as they've cleaned up Bo Lamastus and George Cushman's race cars, got them back to the pit area. Tough break for Bo. He got turned around. Matt Krzyzewski with slight contact, and the big question here is, can we make it with the intense racing action that we have seen so far today? As we take a look back at what we've seen so far today in our race recap, sponsored by General Tire.
It's been some great racing up front. We've been 2 wide, 3 wide since the start of this thing. We've had 6 leaders, 14 lead changes, and 3 caution flags.
Will that caution be our last is the ultimate question. Can these guys get 2 or 3 wide, get through the tri-oval? And remember, the start-finish line is in a different place here. But the driver of the 13 we hear has now been released from the infield care center. Let's get an update from Jim Trado.
A top 10 finish just a couple years ago, Ray, for George Cushman here at Talladega, but not to beat today. What did happen with your number 13 machine?
Oh, well, it looked like the 42 got turned to the outside from what I could see. I started slowing up, then I just got hit from the rear, and then from there I got hit a couple more times, then the wall. So doing the best we could. We had a good car, it was fast, making our way to the front. It's just, it is what it is, product of super speedway racing.
We wish you well next time out, George.
Yep, thank you.
George Cushman again, okay after getting out of the care center, guys.
Well, thank you, Jim. That's the good news.
Yeah, good attitude about it. Yep. It's just a byproduct of this kind of racing. He was certainly a victim here. Bo got run into from behind by Krzyzewski, turned him in the outside wall. There's Cushman trying to avoid it. Terry Jones came along, got into the back of him.
Yeah, and the contact out on the racetrack wouldn't have been much to that car, but then when it slid into that safer barrier, it looks like he's done for the day. So here's the way it lines up. Gus Dean in the number 98 is our leader, Josh Williams, who is a very recent short track winner for the first time, will be on the inside. Is Gus Dean going to take the inside or out?
He's going to take the outside, and so what that says is he wants to have Tom Hessert in the 25 behind him as opposed to Chase Briscoe in the 77.
So Briscoe will be on the inside, and that'll put Will Kimmel behind him, so Hessert will line up behind Williams. Hey, back to the care center and Jim.
Glad to see Bo Lamastus out. Must be that old motocross skeletal structure, all muscle all the time. Bo, that was a heck of a hit on the backstretch. What happened?
I'm not sure. I think we got turned, and that was it. Somebody gave us a pretty good tap, and instead of being able to go straight, we got it sideways, and we just kind of scraped the wall, and our day was done. Hate it.
You've held the lead here in this race. You had to shuffle back. You were working your way forward once again. How was the racing out there today?
It was good. It was typical the way we've been going. It's been green, you know, just long runs. And no, it was a pretty smooth ride for the most part.
Glad to see you're okay. That's Bo Lamastus.
And speaking of green, as Bo was saying, we're about to go there. 5 laps to go here at Talladega, and we're back to green flag racing. On the high side, Gus Dean. Down to the bottom, Josh Williams.
Yeah, 4 laps to go now to decide this as they got to the start-finish line. The dead even up front.
The number 69 is separated by a car length and a half from Chase Briscoe. I'm sure that will change here shortly, but Briscoe up there in the second row and a gap back to Will Kimmel.
Yeah, once he gets there, though, he's going to have a little bit of momentum, maybe a little bit of a bump here. Propel him forward, but there's nowhere to go. He's got Josh Williams right in front of him.
And that double yellow line is a no-no. You can't go below that. They're going to start pushing. And here comes Briscoe to push Josh Williams forward.
Oh, trouble, contact. No trouble, but certainly contact. Brady Boswell, it looked like, got into the 69 of Kimmel.
Yeah, and that was really bad news for Brett Holmes. He got shuffled out, and he'll go to the high side, and I'm not sure he can recover from back there 10 or 11 rows deep.
How about look at Josh Williams way out front here, 3 or 4 car lengths. Look at the high side. How about Creed in the 38 car and making it 3 wide?
And he's got a teammate right behind him. That's Weatherman. Those 2 are Lira Motorsports guys. See if they can hook up and go to the front.
There's Chase Briscoe. Will Kimmel been together the entire race. They have Gus Dean to the outside. They would love to get clear of him and try to do something with Josh Williams. Just 2.5 laps to go.
The spotters have got to be telling these guys. Oh, and Gerhard gets shuffled out. Oh, hard contact into the wall. The number 14 of Dustin Knowles really slams into the wall. Another car, 2 cars involved. Gerhardt is junk.
Mark Thompson, the 66 involved.
So the yellow flag is going to come out here, and the ARCA officials are saying to us, because of impending darkness, they are going to throw the checkered flag here. And I believe our winner is going to be Josh Williams.
Yes, whoever was out front when the caution flag was displayed, and we had to put the caution out. There was such hard contact out on the backstretch.
Folks, it is really getting dark here at the Talladega Super Speedway. We were assuming with 2 laps to go, we would go back to green flag racing, but the indication here, because of the lengthy cleanup that was going to be involved on the backstretch, they have made the decision that that amount of time going by, we would not be able to restart this race safely with 4 or 5 cars piled up back there and a lot of debris on the racetrack. So it appears that Josh Williams is going to be back in victory lane after his big win a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we're waiting now to hear from the ARCA officials. They will review some tape. A lot of damage to Bobby Gerhardt's car. He was in a great spot. He got shuffled out of line. Then he was trying to get back up in line above the double yellow line, and then this all ensued after that.
Yeah, this is unofficial right now, folks, because they will go to the transponders, they'll go to video, to whatever they can determine who was ahead, and those cars were very, very close.
There's Corbin Forrester. Good to see him get out of that car.
Yep.
Going to take a ride to the infield care center. Mandatory if you're involved in an accident that you go to the infield care center.
Chase Briscoe currently listed in 3rd. I don't believe he has any shot for this win, but it is going to be great for him in the points. Briscoe was 2nd in the points coming in, and remember, John West Townley had a very bad day today. Townley is going to be listed back in about 29th out of this race. Now here's the video, Phil. We can see that Gus Dean, well,
now you see Josh is already waving.
Okay, he's saying yellow is out. All right, Josh Williams down on the inside.
Watch the outside wall. There's a yellow light. It looks to me like certainly right there that the 98's out front.
Wow, this is going to be a tight one for the ARC officials to make the decision. Briscoe to the inside, Tom Hessert outside, but look how close the 6 and the 98 of Gus Dean are. The winner of this race is Gus Dean. Josh Williams will finish 2nd.
How about that? What an amazing job by both of those young men. How about Gus Dean going to victory lane at Talladega?
Mason Mitchell Motorsports back in victory lane once again. The disappointment of Daytona wiped away as he will be the winner by about a foot, it looks like, over Josh Williams.
Yeah, what a way to bring a new sponsor on board your team.
I got to tell you, Mason Mitchell Motorsports, that is an impressive group. Those guys have really performed at a high level over the course of the last 2.5 seasons.
I don't know that we'll get a margin of victory, Ray, because it didn't happen to start-finish line,
right.
But that couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 thousandths of a second, just like it was for Denny Hamlin at Daytona.
There'll be a bunch of zeros there, I know that for sure. Gus Dean, your winner. Congratulations to the number 98 team. Heartbreak for Josh Williams. Those 2 cars had run side by side for so many laps. The underdog Williams will come home in 2nd today in that Musselman's Applesauce number 6.
See, the results right now are unofficial. Now, ARCA officials determined that Gus Dean was our winner, but they're going to go back and look for every single position.
Here is the first look at this as we see Krzyzewski coming up there, and it looks like the 22 of Boswell is on his bumper, and all 3 cars are locked together as Bobby Gerhardt's in the front.
There's the contact right there. That shoves Bobby down under the double yellow line. Now he's got to get back in position. It looks like maybe Dalton Sargent got into the 14 car and turned him around.
Yeah, Dustin Knowles hit that wall very, very hard with the right front and a couple of times spinning around on the safer barrier.
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with Bobby Gerhardt getting back out in line. It looks like maybe the 66 of Dalton Sargent just barely nudged the 14 of Knowles, put him in the outside wall.
And when Gerhardt and Krzyzewski were side by side, that's what clipped the front end of Corbin Forrester, and Forrester goes down into the inside safer barrier.
Well, let's take another look back behind that.
See,
no,
Dalton Sargent got turned into the inside wall. Bobby Gerhart was just trying to go by on the inside. He got into the inside wall as well as the 66 of Sargent.
Yeah, I apologize. That was Mark Thompson right in front of those guys. You can see Thompson on the right here, and there goes Bobby Gerhart. They're side by side. Here comes the 66, and all across the front of the hood, the 66 goes into
Yeah, that
the
was
inside
Mark
wall.
Thompson,
Yeah.
not Dalton Sargent.
Yeah.
Dalton Sargent was in the 55.
Ooh. The sound of a car hitting the wall at 180 miles an hour. Certainly hope that Dustin Knowles is okay.
Looks like Mason Mitchell.
He came out to give him the thumbs up. Gus Dean is from South Carolina, their race shop in North Carolina, and today he's going to get a chance to go to victory lane. Let's go back to Caitlin.
Well, I'm joined by Josh Williams, who came home in the runner-up spot. Josh, what were those closing laps like here at Talladega?
I mean, they were really great. We had a really fast race car. Clearly twice we were leading, but apparently the higher-ups didn't want us to win today. But, hey, Toledo's up next, and we'll go win there.
And how can you use this momentum moving forward to Toledo?
It's really big for us. I mean, we're a family-owned team, low budget. Thankful for Musselman's Applesauce, Circle Track Warehouse, at the Chainsaw Brands, General Tire for giving us a good tire all day. I mean, it's tough, but we're going to go win some more, I guarantee it.
All right, thank you. Getting his second top 5 effort of the season, guys.
Well, thank you, Caitlin. We want to take another couple angles here, and we'll watch for the lights on the outside. On the left side, you see the angle all the way down the back straightaway, and on the right, you see these two cars. Josh is clearly ahead right there.
Yeah, watch the lights now. When the lights turn yellow.
Green, there's the crash. 1, 2, 3, and the yellow
There's the
is
yellow.
out.
No doubt that the 98 of Gus Dean was ahead when the caution light came out. You see Chase Briscoe was ahead, or was in the third spot right there, and it looks like Tom Hessert will be fourth.
Great work from our production crew, giving you the clear shot of the winner, and that is the Gree Cooling Products Chevrolet from Mason Mitchell Motorsports. Gus Dean pulling into victory lane here in the General Tire 200.
And he was there all day long. I don't think he ever was out of the top 5.
This was not a fluke by any means.
No, not at all.
Big disappointment for Josh Williams, I'm sure. We had a feeling that Briscoe and Kimmel would hook up, but guess what? It's 98, and Jim Trado's there to give him congratulations.
And much like how Gus Dean asked, where do I turn to victory lane? He's now unbuckling the belts, and I can see the hand shaking. Pure emotion from this 21-year-old, not knowing his future after the second Pocono. He said, I know we're going to test before the first Pocono. We're racing the second Pocono, but guess what? Now he is putting on the necklace that says General Tire Race Winner. And as he climbs from his car, Gus Dean has won here at Talladega in the General Tire 200. Mason Mitchell Motorsports putting together a fast car. Again, they're 1-2 at the Daytona test, the only preseason test on a super speedway. Gus Dean was second only to his winning crew chief today, Mason Mitchell. And as he comes down to celebrate, he said, we are going after the victory today. Mission accomplished. He's won with his father, Charles Dean's team. But this moment, we're going to capture it now. Gus, take us through how that race ended. You had a strong car all day.
We really did. I mean, the car was obviously a top-notch car all day long. It got really hairy there towards the end. Mason and those guys made an excellent pit strategy. Still getting used to this stuff. They made an excellent pit call, and it really played out for us. We were able to come back through the field. And man, the guys just did an awesome job on pit road. Got us in, got us out. It just all played out for us, and we worked the draft right. Had an awesome spotter up top, Tyler Green. And man, we couldn't have done it without Gree Cooling Products and cab installers, man. They gave me my second chance, and we came back to do it.
A lot of those folks are here today as well, but talk more about how you were able to make friends on the racetrack, because before the race, you didn't have a lot of friends, no teammates on that racetrack.
No, we didn't. I think it was just clean running and running the way I want to be run. And they know, when they get beside me, they can trust me. So I think that's how we made friends, and however it was, it worked out.
Another fresh face, 21-year-old Gus Dean, a winner here in the ARCA Racing Series, presented by Menards here at Talladega.
Guess what, Phil? That is 3 consecutive first-time winners this season.
How about that? That's amazing.
Gus Dean, the winner. They're celebrating down in victory lane. He picks up the trophy of the General Tire 200.
Meet the new John Deere Gator XUV 590i, a vehicle so versatile, it owns anything outdoors. 32 horsepower, a 1,200-pound payload, and over 1,000 different ways to configure yours. Go Gator.
We have some severe weather heading our way here at Talladega. They have just announced to the fans to please get out of the grandstand, but they saw a wild finish to the General Tire 200 here at the Talladega Superspeedway. 4 races are complete in the 2016 season, and we've had 3 consecutive first-time winners. That's pretty awesome. Let's hear from the guy who finished 3rd today.
And coming home in the 3rd position is Chase Briscoe. Chase, how intense was it out there today, and especially when you guys were going 4 wide?
Yeah, it was definitely intense. You know, this is only my 7th time on pavement, 7th time even in a stock car. And it was definitely hairy at times, and you know, coming into today, I really wasn't looking forward to it just because you know what can happen. But it was pretty fun today. It was definitely fun running 4 wide, and looking forward to hopefully the next one.
And you're walking away with a 2nd top 5 effort so far this season for Chase Briscoe.
Well, thank you, Caitlin. We were going to show you the unofficial results. Obviously, ARCA will go back and look at some timing and scoring, some video and whatever. But we do know for sure that Gus Dean from South Carolina, the winner today. Josh Williams comes home 2nd. Briscoe will be 3rd.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the top 3. Not so sure about what's beyond that. Again, unofficial. ARCA officials will take however long they need to determine the finishing order.
Well, here's what I can tell you for sure. John West Townley finished way back in this race today. I think he's back about 29th. So he will not be our point leader heading to Toledo. We will see Chase Briscoe move forward. Here's the lineup. Bobby Gerhart down in 19th. We thought he was going to be in position to make a run there.
Yeah,
Didn't happen.
So many of these guys really deserve better. Unfortunately, Mark Thompson was in position there late. Corbin Forrester got involved in an incident as well.
From Bo Mastis here in 26 back, we're talking about drivers who were out of this race. And Bo with a heavy contact back there in his Crosley race car. So all the way back to 35th, you see where your favorite driver finished today. And again, that's unofficial. ARCA will post those results probably on Monday.
Yeah, some great racing. Some guys like Andy Seiss, who finished 31st, had a good run, was up on the top 5 at one time, got turned around coming to pit road, car wouldn't refire.
Okay, Tom Hessert finished 6th today, led a lot of laps. Let's hear from him. He is standing by again with Caitlin.
Thanks, Ray. Well, Tom, how frustrating is it to lead the most laps and not be able to get the win here at Talladega?
Well, it certainly is. We had a great car all day. Relaxed wraps, Toyota Kinetic gaskets were on board our car today, and the Venturini Motorsports had a great race car. It's certainly frustrating to lead all those laps, but it was a heck of a race. I gotta say that. You know, it was a blast being out there, but being in the lead wasn't really the spot to be for very long. So, 4th is great. It's a good points day for us, and we'll move on to the next one.
When you and I talked before the race, you said it's been great being a part of this race team. What are some of the positives, though, that you can take away from this race?
Well, the positive certainly, like we spoke before the race, last week we had a decent run at 6 at Salem, and this week at top 5. So, we're building some momentum, headed in the right direction. And, that's really the main thing. We're coming into some good races for us, some good tracks like Toledo and Pocono. So, I think we'll be in good shape moving forward.
Thank you, Tom. Jim.
And a driver who brought this race to a premature close is thankfully out of the care center. Dustin Knowles, take us through that crash on the backstretch with your gray 14 machine.
Man, I was riding down the back straightaway, had it flat on the floor. That hot rod was digging, baby. And I tell you, next thing I know, there's a lot of smoke. I'm in the back straightaway fence, and I was doing more donuts than Krispy Kreme puts out in a year. But wow, that was a hit. It didn't feel that bad in the car, but I mean it's hurt pretty good. But I really got to thank Daryl Gent for the opportunity to let me drive his hot rod, and Shepard's Wrecker Service and Garage out of Sneads Ferry, Holly Ridge Auto Sales. Man, we were running so good. We had such bad luck the last 2 races, and we actually get some decent luck and decent breaks, and I hate for it to end like that. I really do.
Glad to see you're okay to race again. Thanks, Dustin. Glad to see you're okay.
All right, thank you.
Dustin Knowles.
Thank you, Jim. He's from Moody, Alabama. And Phil, I set that up to go down to hear from Hessert. I said he's in 6th position because I'm looking at the scoring monitor, but you even made the point he's probably going to finish 4th.
Yeah, it looked like Chase Briscoe was on the inside. He was 3rd, and Tom's going to finish 4th. I don't know beyond that. But again, ARCA officials will take however long they need to determine the finishing position for these guys because they want to make sure everyone gets what they deserve.
Sure.
Obviously, right away we had to determine who won the race so they could go to victory lane, and that was certainly Gus Dean with Josh Williams 2nd, Chase Briscoe 3rd, and Tom Hessert 4th.
Okay, well, we know Sean Corr somewhere there in the top 10. Let's hear from him. He's with Caitlin.
Thank you. And Sean Corr comes home 5th here at Talladega. How exciting was it out there today?
It was an awesome race. Besides the heat, I don't know how high the humidity is, but it was definitely dying in the cars. It was definitely an exciting race. We got to run up front and top 2 there for a while and got shuffled to the back, kind of just be around midway, but had a really great pit stop. I can't thank my Empire Racing crew. They did an awesome job on the pit stop, had us in and out, and I think we came back out like 8th-ish, and it was just a great day for our small team.
And you and I talked just before this. You're planning tentatively to run the Pocono races as well. How would this run help build towards those races?
It's definitely going to help. So anything to try to represent our sponsors, Nesco Bus Sales out of Long Island, New York, and Empire Racing, Grumpy's Inc., the Trans Group out of Rockland County, New York, Educational Bus Transportation, all those guys, Chestnut Ridge Transportation, Ethan Allen Transportation, all those guys chip in and help us out to try to get here, and I can't thank them all enough.
Thank you. Sean Corr leaves Talladega with the top 5.
Thank you, Caitlin. Top 5 run for Sean Corr. Certainly, we knew that car was going to be very fast. Phil, at this race a year ago, Blake Jones won, and he set off a run of 7 consecutive drivers getting their first career victory. We've already had 3 in a row this year.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if we did it again.
Lots of campers on the infield here at Talladega. We'll wrap things up in the General Tire 200 when we come back.
At the Joseph A. Bank Buy One Get One Free sale, suits and sport coats are on sale. Plus, buy one, get one free. And buy one, get one free on even more throughout the store. Plus, take an extra 40% off clearance items. Only at Joseph A. Bank.
Back at Talladega, we had a wild finish here because of impending severe storms and darkness. They had to call the race. It was very close between Josh Williams and Gus Dean. Gus Dean gets the win today, but for more, we got to go back down and check in with Caitlin.
Well, Will Kimmel got a top 5 and just his first start since Daytona. How would you characterize your day here in Talladega?
Wild. Gotta thank E3, gotta thank SO Contracting. You know, it's been a long road here with the super speedway car, and gotta thank the 77 team. We tried some stuff at the beginning of the race. It didn't work at all, and we were able to drive right up through the middle, take the lead, and he was running 3rd there, and we got together at the end of the race, and we were gonna make a show.
Yeah, how helpful is that when you have someone like Chase Briscoe to work with at a place like this?
It's awesome, you know, and it's even better. We're only 30 minutes. We only live 30 minutes apart, so out here representing Southern Indiana, that's really cool. But it's nice. You got somebody you can trust and somebody you can, rely on to help you in the draft, and that makes all the difference in the world at a track like this.
Now, this is your second start of the season in the ARCA series. What's your future plans?
We're going to do 10 more this year. They're going to be hit and miss and stuff like that. But, we got E3 on for all the speedway stuff, and hopefully we grow more with them. And, I'm lucky it didn't cut a General Tire at the end of the race. It held up great. I was happy for that. But, anyway, good day.
Thank you. Congrats. Will Kimmel leaving Talladega with a top 5.
Oh, thank you, Caitlin. Obviously, the team that really needed some good luck, and that came through. He talks about that trust factor, Phil, of going there with Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe doesn't have a lot of starts on pavement.
I love that. When we interviewed him a few moments ago, he said like it's his 8th race ever on pavement, and we're here at Talladega. So that shows you how much people in the garage think of Chase Briscoe.
Absolutely. Great race today. Gus Dean is the winner, but right now we want to get back to our Charlotte studios, and we'll check in with John Roberts.